Welcome to Driven to Repair. This is John Webb, your host. I am managing partner of TenPoint to Complete, and this podcast is designed to focus on the automotive industry with personal insights from leaders around the automotive space. Today, we have a very special guest, and his name is Doug Dibert. Doug, we've known each other for, I think, 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah.
And in full transparency, you are also Fractional CMO of TenPoint Complete. Welcome to the podcast.
John, thanks so much for having me, man. Yeah, it's been a long journey, right? I think we connected up a little around all the craziness of COVID. I was going to do a marketing talk. It was supposed to be in person, and then all the craziness happened with COVID and everything went virtual. I remember that happening and being really ticked off. I'm like, what the heck? These people are overreacting.
Right. And I think it was a webinar, and I think that your expertise in marketing, and we'll certainly get into that with a, focus on video and engagement and all the good things that we can do to help leverage brands. I kind of wanted to start though with, your name is Doug Dibert Jr. Do I have that correct?
You got it. Yeah. And the reason why I actually tack on the junior is when Facebook came about, I got a Facebook account, and I kept getting tons of messages for people trying to get a hold of my dad. And I'm like, I'm Doug Jr. Doug Jr. And I was like, I was going to put Doug Jr. on there. That's how it stuck.
Yeah. And I don't know a whole lot about your father, but I do know that he was a businessman, or maybe still is.
Yeah.
And, how did that shape you? I know, I believe he's in a different industry than you are, but how did that influence you, or how did someone in your family influence you as to start your own company and to be more or less you're an entrepreneur, right?
Yep, you got it. So, yeah, no, my dad, he still owns a building a custom home and remodeling business. So I worked for him for years. So I did construction, and any aspect of construction, you name it, I did it. I was on top of roofs, hauling shingles, rough construction, finished carpentry.
You're handy.
I told my wife I'm handy when I'm properly incentivized. Wink, wink.
But then at some point you said, well, this may not be exactly what I'm cut out to do. And how did you kind of evolve into the marketing,
more creative side of things? Yeah. So I definitely think I got the business stuff from, obviously from my dad, even my mom too. My mom's involved in the business as well. The creative side of it, I definitely think I got that from my mom's side for sure. So, I never really got the construction bug. My brother did. So, I got bit by the creative, bug, I guess, in that aspect. So I get the blend of both, the creative business guy, which can be good and bad. Good because you come up with some really good ideas when you do focused work. Bad because, you get those creative squirrel moments. They come a lot. You feel like you're fighting off the creative distraction squirrel moments.
Well, I know that you've done a lot to help TenPoint Complete and been involved with many different industries and different aspects of marketing. Tell us a little bit about your initial, experiences, and then how that evolved. I know that you've been involved with, and I think owned several different companies. Is that right?
Yeah. All having to do with content and creativity, right? So started off doing a video production company that spun into a video marketing agency. Used to live up in Michigan near Lake Erie. And then my wife's from Columbus, Ohio, lived in Michigan for about 10 years, moved to Columbus. And Columbus, much bigger market, right? Lots more competition. So, when I was inside of meetings pitching customers on doing video, right? If I was like the second or third or fourth person in that pitch, right, to try to pitch that customer on doing video content, they would be, hey, well, what's it going to cost us to do this video, right? So the moment you walk in, they already commoditized you. So I thought, when I close a customer, what do I really do, right? So we brought video marketing, digital marketing strategy to the content they need to create. And crazy enough, right, I saw video as eventually going to be the cornerstone of any solid content marketing plan. And even more so, content is king, especially at the time of this recording, right? AI is become a massive thing. AI was not a thing not even that long ago, but AI searches content, and video content, because it's humanized content, is the number one food of social media, search engine optimization, especially if we optimize YouTube channels. So that's how we kind of differentiated. And obviously I transitioned into growing a video marketing software company, and then now we call it a growth firm. Not so much digital marketing, right? We look at every aspect of the business and just leverage digital marketing, AI, help with sales. Kind of, we touch all aspects. So, and that fractional CMO approach.
Yeah, and it's all kind of melding together in a sense, right? And I think we haven't talked about this previously before this inaugural podcast, but this was actually a podcast in a virtual studio. So
yeah,
I was going to ask you this off camera, but let's talk about that a little bit, because I think most people know what a podcast is, but we're also virtual studio. So how do those two things kind of, work together? And then what's the potential for the opportunity for putting these into marketing pieces, if you will?
It's huge. Yeah. So obviously the traditional podcast back in the day, you met in a studio, you had all the expensive equipment, you had to sit and record just the audio now. So for this, right, when we decided to do a podcast, or if you're just even thinking about doing a podcast, go ahead and do it. It's actually, it's a really smart move to not just help people understand who you are, get a little deeper insight beyond just like products and services. But on top of that, right, you get to talk to a lot of fantastic people. And then when you utilizing the virtual studio, right, that we have, we're able to not only capture the audio, but we also capture the video. So you could take little video clips and put that on social media. So if you spend an hour a month, you could create just tons of content for the entire month. So just 1 hour gives you just a ton of content over the entire month. So it keeps the social media people happy. You're optimizing those videos for YouTube's, keeping search engines happy, all the AI searches happy. So yeah, it's changed the game. Like now, I know we have a list of really awesome guests we have coming on. They don't have to fly anywhere or drive anywhere. They can just hop on anywhere in the world and record a simple podcast interview.
Yeah, I think it's tremendous. And the amount of content that can be created. I know that you and your team, for me, and I would call it an avatar. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but prior to this, we've created an avatar of me. I don't know if that's good or bad. I think that there may be multiple opinions out there about that. But the point being that the avatar can take basically ideas and spread them over many platforms and not take a lot of time or create a lot of cost from a budgetary standpoint. So there are a lot of advantages. And then I think your point to, having AI be part of this, whether it's search or, some other type of, I was just at a conference where there was an expert on CRM there and talking about how they're inserting AI into CRM tools. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe you've got some additional insight into that. I certainly don't have the knowledge to know where that is going, but I do have the knowledge to know that it's got to be a part of any marketing engagement package and platform moving forward.
You got to think of yourselves as an infotainment company to an extent. And the reason why you want to consider, if you're listening to this, the best way to start creating content for your business is think about all the stuff that you talk to your prospect or even your current customers about that make them go, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. But for you, it's like second nature. But that information blows your customers away. Create content around all that stuff. Because when somebody's looking to make a decision on whether they want to work with you or not, they do research. right? They're jumping on ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok, or Claude, right? And or just we'll call it our kid, my kids will be like, you did Google searches? Dad, that's and you took Tylenol? No. But it's all about giving your prospects the information they need to make an informed decision. So depending on your price point, I'm actually working on a white paper right now for this, John. There's different, it's been determined that the amount of hours and time people invest into how many hours they actually search and find research. So let's say, for example, I know off the top of my head, if at a price point of about $10,000, somebody has to do about 20-ish hours of research in order to make an informed decision. So it's your job as the business owner or the marketing person listening to this is, do you have enough content to fill that research void? Because if you don't have it, your competition, you bet they're working on creating the content that person needs to make an informed decision. And that's the cool part about it, right? Nowadays is it really levels the playing field for every business on planet Earth, because you may not be able to, maybe you don't have the gigantic ads budget, right? For Google or social media, but you know what you could do? You can out-create your competition. Just by, it doesn't even have to be video too. It could be white papers, could be PDFs. It could be simple blogs, right? Give somebody something to consume. That's going to, you ever go to a blog and it tells you how long it takes to read, right? So make a blog and let's say, for example, your product, maybe they may need an hour of research before they make a decision, right? Write blogs that will maybe 3 or 4 blogs that are 3 to 4 minutes in length. That gives somebody that decision-making information that they need.
And how do you know which platforms? Like my favorite platform is probably LinkedIn. That's where I go to most often. I think a lot of people obviously are on Facebook. I don't know that that's the most valuable from a business standpoint, in my opinion. But and then you've got the AI that's kind of or Google or search. That's kind of, I view it as kind of some kind of something in the background that's always try to determine where you should rank or how you're going to be positioned as a company or a brand. How would a company know what platform is the best, given that there's all this technology behind it, continuously searching, whether it's YouTube with their search or Google, or you mentioned AI? It seems a little bit overwhelming to try to determine, let's say we're making content right now, for example.
Mm-hmm.
How would I know, because I don't, where to leverage this content that we're creating right now?
Yep. So you have to just ask yourself where your customers are hanging out at. So depending on your industry, right, they may not be hanging out on LinkedIn. So they may be hanging out on Facebook or on Instagram, right? And there's even social platforms that like are little spin-offs, right? They're their own kind of universe. Cause there's a platform called Circle, .so, I believe, where you can create your own communities inside there and it's free for people to join. So there's like sub areas you can pop in your content too. So for business B2B, definitely LinkedIn, I think is a good spot to hang out. But even in the evenings, like Facebook's still not a bad place to post stuff, right? Because people are, depending on the age demographic, right, are scrolling Facebook in the evening to see what's going on, with who, their family member or whatever, right? Facebook's good if you're trying to get somebody's attention, right? They're not expecting you, right? Google search is good because it has high intent. That's why Google ads cost a whole lot more, because people are on it. They're actively looking for a solution to the problem that they have, right? So that's high intent. Social media, you're trying to catch their attention, which is like content like this really comes into play. And even think of YouTube, right? YouTube is a fantastic spot to post content, right? And a lot of people now will spend the evenings scrolling YouTube, right? They have YouTube on their phone. They have YouTube on their TV, right? And another great avenue that we talk about is actually streaming television. You can actually buy ads on streaming television, and they are a fraction of the cost of traditional broadcast.
I've seen advertisements for that.
Yeah. Like my wife's parents and my parents, they both have YouTube TV. So you can go to YouTube TV and buy ads on YouTube TV. And if you ever watch YouTube TV, there's a spot where it says like, you could skip the commercial and go to like a moment of Zen, they call it. And when you see that, that's actually open space I haven't sold. So there's tons of opportunities for streaming television too. So and the cool part about that is like you can get granular. So like say you want to do YouTube TV on and like say I'm based here in the Sarasota, Florida area, I could target Sarasota, Florida on YouTube TV.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I think sometimes here at work on my desktop, I need a moment of Zen built into my. I think my coworkers would say that. I think, oh no, everything's cool here. Don't worry about me. But no, so we're coming up on time here a little bit. But just to wrap it up, maybe some final thoughts on developing marketing and content for different industries. We've worked in automotive here for quite some time, and I think you've exposed and dealt with different leaders of the automotive industry. Are there any insights specific to automotive? And then just finally, as we wrap up, just your final take on what the next steps would be for someone that's interested in, kind of collaborating with someone that would be able to create content like this.
Yeah. So, I guess to go back to your first question about how can somebody get started, just very simply, and I'll go back to kind of what I mentioned before, is creating content that you think is normal everyday stuff that wows your prospects or your customers. That is the easiest way to get started. Next is simply create FAQ content. I prefer video, right? Because it humanizes all that, but even creating an FAQ content in a blog that answers that person's question in depth. So, and then the reason why I lean more toward humanization of marketing, especially automotive industry, and I think we've seen this a little bit, John. People, I think we had mentioned people aren't making claims, right, on their collision or their glass, because they're worried about their car insurance rates going up, or they're worried about the cost, right? Because it's expensive to do that stuff. And rightly so. I mean, the cost for those people in those industries are also high. They got labor costs, part costs, they're due with tariffs, what's happening this week, what's happening next week. So it's it's on both sides, right? Customers worried about the cost, right? And then obviously you guys got to justify, the automotive people, they got to justify that cost. So
yeah, the amount of repairable damage out there we know that's driving around is probably around 30% of all vehicles have repairable damage. So, to your point, if you're in this space, there is a lot of opportunity there. And what we're working on jointly is how do we help those customers, meaning repair facilities, get at that percentage of vehicle owners. And, this is a way to, I think, do that.
But what we could do to help the people like that are in the automotive industry, right, capture all that. What if we created some generic video content that we could easily just put their logos on, that they could share on social media, highlighting the repairable damage that may be on that person's car? All we got to do is throw the logo on it via the audio video engage platform. It'd be super easy. We should do that.
I think that could be tremendously valuable to TenPoint Complete customers and potential customers. We could even give it away for free. No, I'm kidding. But we might. This is, we are brainstorming here.
Yeah.
we're not putting anything out of the realm of possibility. So yeah, maybe there's something that we could provide value at no cost, or maybe there is a cost. I don't know, but this is kind of the value of I think, kind of collaborating with someone that's got a creative mindset like you do, Doug Dibert.
Well, I appreciate that, John
Jr.
Yep.
And no, I mean, so that right there is an example of a good idea, but that is a great, live example of what can kind of transpire after just a couple ideas here. So,
well, listen,
any final thought?
If the final thought, if you're listening to this podcast and you've made it to the end, drop us a note. And then if you want this generic video, because I think we're going to do it, John. We're definitely going to do it. I think we should do it. We're going to create one generic video and reach out to us, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll add your logo to that video so you can share it out.
Yeah, we'll do that gratis, free for sure, right? No problem. We'll see how many people made it to the end. They're probably like, "Oh, Webb, man, we clicked off after 5 minutes." But all right, maybe we'll at the very beginning say, if you make it to the end, there's a free, I don't know, prizes. There's a free gift for you at the end if you make it to the end.
There you go.
Thanks you, Doug Dibert. It was a pleasure having you on. Your insights are very valuable. Thanks to all that are listening and watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next episode.